Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Randy's Beer Garden, where things are getting very spooky and weird. Especially me. As you can see, I'm starting to get a couple little things going here to make it a little bit more festive. But at the same time, we're still doing what we do. We're still doing our beer review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the last Oktoberfest we're doing this season. It's a knockout. I've had it a bunch of times. It's a classic. Rated 81 on Beer Advocate, which I think is probably a little low compared to some of the other Oktoberfest we've looked at, but maybe my memory's off. We'll find out. Good old Hofbräu Oktoberfest beer. This is an international classic, one of the originals, originally brewed for the wedding of Prince Ludwig in Bavaria in 1810. It is not a Märzen, I found out. It is considered a fest beer. Märzens are older. They have a very ancient history. The fest beer is a more modern take, essentially, on this style. So I personally find this one to be very refreshing. It's not super cold. I let this one warm up a little bit because it's supposed to be warmed up a little bit. They would be serving this en masse for the original Oktoberfest. So I'm pretty excited about this. Little bit of gas coming out of there. I don't know if you can see it at all. Very refined. A refined kind of aroma. Little bit of fruit in the aroma. Little bit of malt. And really not much else. It's a very crisp, refined aroma coming out of the bottle. I'm going to go once again with the mug for the pour on this one. I find that it's a little less aggressive if you really get to stream it down the side than pouring it into the Medieval Times glass. Although I will be using the good old Medieval Times glass again. Don't worry, hopheads. It ain't going anywhere. So, ooh, that sounds lovely, doesn't it? Ooh, just the sound of it. Ooh, ooh. Yep, once again, big frothy head on this one. A lot of these fest beers, it seems, they have a much bigger, frothier head than a Märzen would, generally speaking. Not going to say every single one, because then somebody's going to in the comments be like, well, don't you know, there's blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't. Please leave a comment. Wow. Wow. Yeasty head, for sure. Look at that. Big old yeasty beer head. Mm-hmm. Wow. A lot of bubbles coming up. Lovely. Gorgeous beer. Still not done pouring yet because it's just so aggressive. This might be the most aggressive head of all of these beers I've seen so far. Look at how lovely that is now that it's fully poured. Wow. Impressive. Young Sky beer. It's gorgeous, man. And I think the smell actually might be more muted now that it's been poured out than in the bottle, which seems kind of weird. It's unusual for the style. All the other ones, once they've been summoned, that's when the aroma starts to really make itself well known. But here, it's much more muted experience, more refined, as you would expect from Germans. Sorry, terrible accent again. Let's give it a try, shall we? Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Wow. Yeah, this is like the Cadillac of Oktoberfest beer. Very refined, wonderful experience to drink slash try. And I'm not advocating drinking and driving. Let's make that clear. I'm talking about the comparison between the car and the beer. And the thing is, there's not too much of a connection where the rubber meets the road for the human being. You know, it's not like a sports car experience where it's like, yeah, that's more like the one we watched. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. The one we did yesterday, which was just mind-blowingly fantastic. This one is it lacks that X factor, you know. I think that the collaboration between Sierra Nevada and the more traditional, old school German breweries is what really made that one shine and made it unique and special. I mean, this one, what makes it unique and special is how completely refined it is. It's so. Let me give it another sip and I'll tell you. There's like a honey and fruit blend in there, in addition to the typical biscuit dough and crystal malt flavor that is what the base of these beers is. And it's a little lighter, I would say, than most of them, but I think the alcohol percentage is either the same or potentially even a little higher, somewhere around the 6% range, obviously. Yeah, it doesn't say on the bottle, but I'm pretty certain that this one is in the 6% alcohol range. And it's definitely quite quenchable for something in that alcohol range. Very, very little in the way of hop complexity. There's like a little kiss of those traditional German, Hallertau and Tettnang, I guess, hops. Although typically those would be used in a Marzen. But it tastes like there's some kind of hops present in here, just not a lot. Very muted, very in the background. The yeast used to produce this is one of the primary flavors, I would say, and that reminds me of a Pilsner, so I'm all about that. I can see why some people wouldn't be, though. So overall, I would say that for a classic taste take on the style with a taste that is both traditional and forward thinking for something from 1810, this has to get at least 7 gazufas. So, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, 10 gazufas on 7 out of 10 gazufas on this one. It's a little bit basic, but it's fantastic for what it is. It deserves its reputation as a solid classic for this time of year. It's just not really going to blow anybody's mind, I think. It's going to be one of those Marzens that you try, and if you Marzens, I say Marzen, it's not technically a Marzen. Fest beers that you try, and if you really like fest beers, you're probably going to get something out of it. If you don't, if that's not your preference of beer, you're probably never going to feel the need to try a fest beer again, unfortunately, because it is a little basic. So, yep, 7 out of 10 gazufas, solid choice, just not my favorite. Guys, we are starting to run down to the last few episodes of this channel, and from here on in, no more Oktoberfests. It's the last one we're going to be looking at on this channel, so please like and subscribe if you've been enjoying the content so far. Things are going to get a little ookier and a little spookier here on this channel, so please stick around and like and subscribe. Thanks for sticking around in Randy's Beer Garden.